Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, I've been away for 2 weeks now. I didn't make a video last week, and it was just one of those weeks where I just didn't feel inspired. I didn't feel like being in front of the camera. Didn't feel motivated to do anything. So my apologies. I had a couple messages on Facebook like, hey, where are you? Are you sick? Are you doing all right? And yes, I'm fine. Everything's been great. Just didn't have the motivation to make a video last week. So I am back. It is Friday night. And I'm happy to come back at you with another kind of smallish music collections video. This one isn't going to be too long or too epic, but it's an artist that I have really grown to like a lot in the last 2 or 3 years. And I have most of his stuff now. I don't have many of the singles. I don't think I have any of the singles, in fact. And there's probably a lot of them. But I have now completed my studio albums collection. So I wanted to talk to you guys this week about a relatively unknown artist, at least in America, Richard Hawley, who is quite popular, in fact, in the UK. His most recent album, which we'll talk about later, is his top 10 album, and I think he has consistently been in the top 10 for the last 2 or 3 albums, but still relatively unknown here, doesn't get a lot of attention. Doesn't get a lot of media press. I don't know of any recent tours that he's done here in the States, but someone I stumbled across almost by accident because he did some session work, some studio work in one of the bands that I love so much, Elbow. He was on one of he did a live performance, I can't remember exactly which one it was. I think it was the one where they did Abbey Road. I think it was live at Abbey Road with the full orchestra. He came out and did one song with them, and that kind of sparked my interest in who this person was, who Richard Hawley was, and then started doing a little bit of digging and found out that his album at that time, which is what started it all for me, I guess I'll start with that one here. This is Standing on the Sky's Edge, was nominated for the Mercury Prize in, let's see what year that was. This is 2012, Standing at the Sky's Edge. So, you know, I found this in the used bin at my local record store, and it was quite cheap. I think it was like $11. And I, you know, still kind of getting to know him and didn't know much about his music, but I had heard that this was nominated for a Mercury Prize, and I'm like, you know, for $11, I'm going to try this. One thing led to another. I took this home, and I have played this thing to death. I love this album. It is so wonderful, and come to find out it's a little bit unlike his other albums, but I like them all. But this one for me is what started it all, so I'm going to go a little bit out of order, but I thought it was important to let you guys know I haven't been a fan from the beginning by any means. This is the first time, other than the Elbow accompaniment that he did during that live BBC session, I'd never even heard of the guy's name. And then I stumbled across this in the used bin at Waterloo Records and wanted to take a chance on it, even though I had never even heard any of the music. And I'm so glad that I did, because I've become a big fan since 2012. And it may have even been 2013, actually, when I bought this. But that is a wonderful album. And it's a little bit more rocky, a little bit more louder, a little bit more electric than the rest of his catalog. But I can certainly see why he got a lot of attention for this record, because it is spectacular and a wonderful place to start. I'm glad I kind of didn't discover him until this, because for me it just seemed to all kind of fall into place very, very well. So if you're new to Richard Hawley, this is a very, very fine place to start, and the title track alone, Standing on the Sky's Edge, is just incredibly epic. I'm sure if YouTube will allow me to hear any songs in the background in this video and not get taken down, that'll be one of the tracks that you'll be hearing, because I absolutely adore it. So I just thought I would let you know that's how I started with Richard Hawley. Richard Hawley's from Sheffield, England, and a bit of a local hero there, from my understanding. You know, he's got a big following there in Sheffield, and a pretty big following throughout the UK, and probably maybe even throughout Europe. But here in America, unfortunately, he just has not broken through very much. And hopefully, you know, give him more time, maybe that'll change. He hasn't been an overnight sensation by any means. He's my age. He's 48 years old. And you wouldn't think that that is the time where artists become kind of in their prime, in their peak and blossoming career. But you know, in his case, he keeps getting more and more popular, it seems, with each album. So hey, thumbs up to the older guys, I guess. I can say the same thing about another favorite of mine, John Grant, even though their styles are completely different. Another guy who's in his late 40s, who is now just kind of coming into his own. So reading about Richard Hawley here, it's easily accessible on Wikipedia, but for the sake of the video, you know, he got his start in a Britpop band called Long Pins in the 90s. Never heard of him. Could be quite popular there. I can just tell you right now, I've never heard of them. I've never heard one song from them, so don't know if I would like it or not. And then he later joined the band Pulp, which I do know Pulp, and not a bad band there, so I didn't know he was in Pulp. And apparently it was only for a short time until he branched out and started his solo career in, let's see, 2001 I guess it was. And the solo career started with this album here. This is just a self-titled, originally came out as a mini EP, LP. It wasn't a full album. This came out in April of 2000 and, make sure I get these right, 2001, April 2001, and this edition was released in 2007, as contained some bonus stuff on it that didn't come with the original album, apparently, and kind of looks more like a full album now. But this was the debut of his solo career, and quite good. This is an impressive start, and probably the majority of what I'm going to show you now has a very similar type of feel to it. He loves singing about hometown stuff. Most of his albums seem to contain a lot of hangout places or some reference to Sheffield. So I can see why he is a big local hero there, because he's got a lot of stories to tell and a lot of life experiences and great lyrics, great music, great voice, wonderful guitar playing. And just a fantastic EP, you know, more or less a full album here, self-titled. So this is a reissue. All these really are reissues, except for the one I just showed you, the Standing on the Sky's Edge, is an original. But I don't even know if these originally were put out on vinyl, because he was on a smaller independent label for the first 3 albums. Santana. Probably more of a local thing in the UK, and they were kind enough to reissue some of this stuff in late 2014, so all these were purchased much after the fact, and I'm very late to the game, obviously, and I'm not an expert by any means on Richard Hawley, but I've grown to like him really a lot in the past, I'd say, 2 years. Later that year, in October of 2001, he released his first full-length album called Late Night Final. This again is on the, I hope I'm saying it right, Satana? I'm not 100% sure, but this is an import from the UK, one of those reissues from that smaller label that they put out his first 3 albums again, and I'm really, really glad they did. And I hope his other record companies follow suit, because there's a couple I don't have that I would dearly love. Another great album here. Well, I say another, it was really his first full album, but there's just a feel to these albums. They just really make you feel good. I love his playing. He's got a really smooth delivery. He reminds me kind of a Roy Orbison type, where it's just a very unique style as far as I'm concerned, and I like the fact that he really has roots and has stayed true to it, and what he has to say is important, and you really just have to hear it, because I'm obviously nowhere close to even being from Sheffield. I don't know hardly anything about Sheffield, but you do learn a lot about it through his songs, and you learn about his life through his songs, and that's probably the mark of a great singer-songwriter, as far as I'm concerned, is you learn something from his music. So next, after that, in February 2003, he released an album called Lower Edges, and or Low Edges, sorry, not Lower Edges, Low Edges, and another really fine effort here. But I guess I could say they're all favorites of mine because they're all good. He hasn't released a bad album yet, and this one is another fantastic album. And the last album he did for Setanta, but I'm probably butchering that. Someone's going to beat me up on my comments on it. But anyway, it's all on Wikipedia. It's all on Discogs if you want to look it up. Then he really had a bit of a breakthrough success. He went and signed to Mute, which is a much bigger label. Everyone's heard of Mute. And released 3 albums with Mute. Now these, unfortunately, are hard to find on vinyl, and I only have one of the 3 on vinyl. I got lucky and got one of them. The other 2, I don't think I'm going to get lucky because they go for about $250. So I've got 2 CDs to show you, and the first one is a bit of a breakthrough album for him called Cole's Corner. Would dearly love to have this on vinyl because I adore this album, but unfortunately, this CD was $7, and the vinyl goes for about $200, so I'm showing you the CD because that's all I can afford. But it doesn't matter, really. It's all about the music, and when I say breakthrough, I got a lot of critical acclaim for this. Not that the others weren't critically acclaimed. This one was very critically acclaimed. Got nominated for a Mercury Prize, which is more or less the equivalent of a U.S. Grammy, as far as I know. And I can see why, because this is a really fantastic, heartfelt, deeply emotional. And there's a funny quote, if I can find it fast enough to include it here, that he did not win the Mercury Prize that year. But I think the person who did win, the band who won, was Arctic Monkeys that year in 2006, I guess it was. And Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys, on record here, quoting their debut album, won the Mercury Prize that year. Someone called 999, Richard Hawley's been robbed. So I guess the Arctic Monkeys are a fan of Richard Hawley, and I can see why. So going back to the discography here, from there he released an album that hit number 6 in the UK. As you can see, its popularity, Cole's Corner hit number 37. This one here, the follow-up, hit number 6. And that is Ladies Bridge. And a really fine album here too. This is also a little bit hard to find on vinyl. Not as hard as Cole's Corner, obviously because I'm holding it in my hands, but still not super easy to find, and I'm very fortunate to have gotten this early enough before the vinyl prices have gone ridiculous. So a great album here. I know I'm not talking about favorite songs and whatnot, but you guys have to figure that out on your own. But I just hope I inspire some people to go check out his music, especially in America, because he's so unknown. And then after Ladies Bridge in 2007, he released an album in 2009, his last album for Mute, and it's an absolute masterpiece, and maybe my favorite album he's ever done. And that, well, I say that, and then I said it for Standing on the Sky's Edge too, but I love this album, True Love's Gutter. This is absolutely fantastic, glorious music, and anyone who likes rock and roll, anyone who likes, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, it's just really heartfelt, in a unique style that is quite unusual at this day and age, to find people who sing from the heart and really transfer emotion as well as he does. And this is a very good album, True Love's Gutter from 2009. So that was the end of his career with Mute, and then he's moved on to bigger and better things. As I've already shown you, he did the album that got nominated for the Mercury Prize in 2012, Standing on the Sky's Edge, and that was on Parlophone. And just this past year, back in September, not that long ago, he released a follow-up to Standing on the Sky's Edge, the wonderful Hollow Meadows. And again, more homage to his hometown I understand this is a parish in Sheffield, and I don't know anything about it, but you know, this obviously has a lot of meaning for him, and this is just a new, wonderful record from Richard Hawley on the Parlophone label, his second album for Parlophone, and it is spectacular. I'm going to show you the gatefold on this as well, so it's brand new. It should be easy to find, and it's a beautiful glossy cover. It's just so well made. Super heavyweight, 180 gram vinyl, and it's just a masterclass, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets nominated for a Mercury Prize again, because it is first class stuff. So definitely going to be high on my list for Album of the Year for 2015. You know, that's to come later on in end of December, January kind of thing, but you'll see it again, I'm sure. And I think that's it. Yeah, that was the last album, 2015. I've got one other little 10-inch to show you here that I recently picked up. False Lights from the Land, just a little 4-track EP that I picked up pretty recently from a third-party seller on Amazon, and I'm really glad I did. It's beautiful. Beautiful cover, beautiful artwork, and a very nice sounding 10-inch, and non-album tracks here. So this was released in 2010 on Mute. So somewhere in between Standing on the Sky's Edge and True Love's Gutter, he did this. So wonderful, and I'm so glad to have it, because I have a feeling this will be one of those that kind of gets harder and harder to find. So that's my little tribute to Richard Hawley. I hope I have inspired you to go check out some of his music. Hopefully you'll be hearing some of it in the background here as I edit the video, and I'll put links down maybe to one of my favorite videos or something like that in the description. So I should have started the video by saying I hope everyone's doing well. I missed you last week, and I hope you will enjoy this video. And next week I'm on vacation. I'm not working, so maybe I can squeeze a couple videos in. And look forward to speaking to you all again real soon. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk again soon. Take care, and bye for now.
In love, you feel the stars above.